به قول لگوات برات همه رو تمیز کردم، گلدون تو آب دادم، لگوات همه رو تمیز کردم، تخت تو مرتب کردم. البته ببخشید من یه چند شب خودم رو تختت میخوابم.
عکسیه که همیشه خندون بودیم، ما همیشه شاد بودیم، ما زندگی خوب داشتیم، ما دو زوج خوشبخت بودیم که با هم زندگی خیلی خوبی داشتیم. آرزو آمون نرسیدیم دیگه، آرزو آمون تموم بود. تسلیت میگم به ایران، تسلیت میگم به کل ایران، تسلیت میگم به 80 میلیون ایرانی، تسلیت میگم. همشون داغ دارن، همشون 80 میلیون ملت بیچاره داغ دارن به خاطر یه باش قاتلای جمهوری اسلامی، قاتلین جمهوری اسلامی که به خاطر منفعت و قدرت خودشون مردم بیگناه میکشن، مثل پشه میکشن. صد رحمت به حیوان شرف داره به همه اینا.
I would like to welcome you to press conference organized by West Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce. As you know, last week, a Ukrainian civilian aircraft was shot down by Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, an organization designated as a terrorist group by the U.S. Treasury Department and foreign terrorist organization by the State Department. This air attack killed 176 innocent individuals of diverse nationalities, including Iranian, Canadian, and Ukrainian citizens. We condemn this attack, this horrifying terrorist attack, and would like to extend our deepest sympathies and condolences to the families and loved ones of the victims who were targeted by the act of evil. Please join me in a moment of silence for the innocent men, women, and children who lost their lives on the airplane that was attacked by 2 missiles. Thank you. The Islamic Republic, under international pressure and mounting evidence, after 3 days finally admitted that it shut down the airplane unintentionally and called it a human error, while the new videos prove that it was struck by 2 missiles in less than 30 seconds. Either we accept that this tragedy happened intentionally, or we believe it was a mistake that happened because of lack of regime capabilities and management to control their own air force. In both cases, it proves this regime must not obtain nuclear power. For the last 40 years, this regime disrespected the basic human rights and proved that if they have stone, they stone their own women. If they have a rope, they hang their oppositions. If they have a weapon, they aim hearts and heads of protesters. And if they have missiles, they target their own airplanes. It's quite predictable what they would do if they access to nuclear power. In the history of aviation record and airspace, there is no record that a state would have targeted an aircraft that has been taken off from its own bound. In West Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, we follow the US federal law and respect and treasury laws and regulation and encourage our members to do so. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ruzbe Farahanipur. I'm president of the West Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, and I'm Iranian American who immigrated to the Los Angeles 19 years ago, 20 years ago, 2000. West Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, as my fellow board members Elham mentioned, we believe to follow the federal laws, and the sanction is part of the federal treasury laws. Actually, that's in our bylaws for the Chamber of Commerce to enforce the sanction and divestment law against any state who is designated as a state of a sponsor of terrorism in the United States. And unfortunately, Islamic Republic of Iran, with their actions, they shows they are largest state of a sponsor of terrorism in the world in last 40 years. And they are designated on the list many years ago with President Reagan. Islamic Republic lobbyists in United States and in the Los Angeles try to show the sanction is not peaceful, and they are not supporting the movement, and they are not stop the regime against violation against the humanity. And they try to blame our President Trump for the sanctions. I want to give you briefly about the history of the sanction against the Islamic Republic of Iran. First, right after the Islamic Republic established their own entity in Iran and changed the name of the Iran to Islamic Republic of Iran, they occupied the US Embassy and take the 52 hostages for 444 days. Since then, they shows they are acting as a terrorist established institution running the countries. President Reagan, with his own executive order, issued the first sanction against the Islamic Republic of Iran on 1987. And followed by 1995, they recognized the Islamic Republic as a state of a sponsor of terrorism. And 97, they followed by the stronger and hardest sanction by the executive order of the sitting the presidents. And continuously, not only the regime changed their own behaviors, but they change and make the life for their own people and international community harder and harder. So that's a different administration, Democratic and Republican. They put more sanction for different reasons on the Islamic Republic of Iran, from the humanitarians to nuclear to many different kind of the sanctions on Islamic republics. And most hardest sanction, I think most of the people, they never realized. Sanction put at the Islamic Republic, that was under the President Obama administration. They put hardest sanction ever on the Islamic Republic until Iran deal. And after the Iran deal, they didn't withdraw and lift all of the sanctions. They just lift the sanction that was connected to the nuclear deal and the nuclear activity of the Islamic Republic. The rest of the involvement of the IRGC in the region, Revolutionary Guard Corps, and on stabilizing the region, they are still on the power and enforce it, and also all of the humanitarian sanctions they stayed. After the new administration, President Trump walked out from the Iran deal. He'll bring back the only sanction withdrawn by the Iran deal, bring it back in place until the Islamic Republic destabilize the region with more terrorist activity, including the last year threatened the shipment of the oil from the Persian Gulf and many other international involvement in the Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, and many other parts of the region. Since then, President Trump tried to add more sanction and adding more harder sanction on the Islamic Republic. And versus many people talk, after the Islamic Republic attacked the US drone on July, President Trump, he didn't start the war, but he said, I'm going to respond money with the money. And he put more sanction on the regime. As well as the last week, Islamic Republic attack to the US bases on the Iraq, which no US citizens get hurt at the Iraq. And the President Trump add more sanction on the Islamic Republic. In last 6-7 months, the new administration add the Supreme Leader of the Islamic Republic as the first Supreme Leader get to the list of the sanction. Foreign Minister of the Islamic Republic, Javad Zarif, is under the sanction list. And also Qasem Soleimani, the well-known terrorist who got killed in response to killing the American and humanity, many humans, and his, not only his hand, his body was bloody with the killing of many humans, was in the sanction. His brother was in the sanction and still is in the sanction. And IRGC and all of the institutions, they are connected to IRGC, they are under sanction, and as well as a separate designated executive order sanction the president issued under the Quds Force, which led by the Soleimani before, that's under the sanction laws. And all of the sanction, how they can connect and the businesses in United States and as well as the Los Angeles as the largest Iranian American populations. The many people try to blame the sanction. They are stopping the export the drug to Iran. Drug never was in the sanction at all in neither of the administration. From the President Reagan to President Trump, the drug never was under the sanction. But also, that's many other items, they are not under the sanction. The education materials, they never was under the sanction. The household belongings, if anybody can prove that's household belonging, they try to bring it here for better life. That was not under the sanction. They could get a waiver on the sanction. Personal gift under $100, that's not under the sanction. And travel related materials, if someone wants to pay for the airfare, is not under the sanction. Our community, since 2014, has a concern about violation of the sanction and divestment in Los Angeles and West LA, Westwood. And West LA Chamber of Commerce was one of the first organizations, warned the local and state and federal community and administrations. We have seen lots of the suspicious activities and violating the sanction laws in our own communities, which hurting and leading to money laundering and lots of the other suspicious activity here. Since then, we are trying to work with the local administration and state and federal, as well as education, our own community. We try to let our business peoples how they can get the waiver from the OFAC if they need it, refer them to the people who can help them if they are doing the legitimate business. And also some of the airlines related to Islamic Republic was under the sanction from President Clinton, President George Bush, and President Obama, and now on, including Iran Air, Mahan Air, and few others. That was one of the major activities we tried to show and notify the community and law enforcement to stop them. You can check the OFAC websites to see every day or weekly update on the sanction and the new name who get under the name of the sanctions on the list. And if you have any question or you want to be connected on the right people, if we cannot answer your question, feel free to ask the question from the Chamber of Commerce. Either we're going to respond you or give you the right answer or connect you with the right institution. They can help you with the answers. And again, we are showing our sympathy with all of the people and 5 nations plus Iran who lost their loved ones. And I'm sure 80 million of the Iranian people inside Iran and abroad, including the United States, all of them are heartbroken, and they are feeling the regime target them by purpose and by the terrorist act. Thank you, and at the end I'm going to respond to any question if anybody has.
Okay, we went through a lot of stuff that I was going to go through, and actually he covered a lot of the key points according to the OFAC and everything, which he's got the expertise in. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here today. It's really heartbreaking standing here due to the recent events that have taken place in my homeland. First of all, I'd like to, send my condolences, and I'm sure on behalf of all of you, to the families of the 176 victims, be it Iranian Canadians, be it Iranian nationals, be it US citizens, the Ukrainian flight crew who lost their lives during this, and they have helped us raise our voice as the opposition, unfortunately, with the loss of their lives. They lost their lives because of the incompetence and the inaptitude of the Islamic Republic. And this is not the first time that people have lost their lives because of the behavior of this murderous regime that has caused terror inside and outside of Iran. As Elham put it very well, we've had stonings, which is unheard of. We have public hangings every day, which is unheard of. We have our political prisons filled with our compatriots for not agreeing with the way this regime acts. And the situation in the prisons gets worse and worse every day. And now we have their inaptitude of shooting down civilian planes. If they felt so threatened that the Americans were going to attack them, they should have shut that airport down, at least for 2 days. They should not have given okay for this plane to take off, and many other planes that day. For the past 40 years, the freedom-loving people of Iran have suffered at the hands of this incompetent and brutal regime. This regime has no respect for anything Iranian, no respect for its citizens, no respect for its culture, no respect for our heritage, no respect for our air, no respect for our soil, no respect for its environment and resources. The corrupt ruling mullahs go out of their way to brag about spending the Iranian people's money to fund, support, and spread terrorism around the world directly and through their proxies, while crushing the people's pro-freedom and anti-establishment protests in Iran. The taking of the criminal Qasem Soleimani was a very smart move by the president, who, unlike its predecessors, showed the mullahs that they won't be appeased anymore. Unfortunately, President Obama, with the JCPOA, appeased these mullahs. He sent them a plane full of money to spend on spreading their acts of terror. They did not spend any of that money inside of Iran for the betterment of the life of the Iranians. And not only that, he also gave $2,500 green cards to the children of the current officials who are now freely roaming the United States and enjoying life, unlike our compatriots and young students in Iran who want to get out and can't get a visa to come to the United States. Unlike what many in the Western world have conveyed as a result, and as a reality in Iran, the people have not taken to the streets due to the demise of Soleimani. The reality, and you see it on TV now, thank God for a change, is the people of Iran have time and time again risen against this regime for many years. And Soleimani was a major player in the regime of the Ayatollahs. He ordered the many acts of terror inside and outside of Iran. Khatami and the student movement that Ruzbe, my friend, was one of the victims of back in 1999, gave orders to Soleimani, and the two of them planned the attack on the dormitories in the university, which caused that big student movement, which filled our prisons up with our young students. And Ruzbe is one of those students who was imprisoned and had to flee Iran to get away from the tyrants in Iran. So Soleimani was no innocent person, unlike what a lot of these officials that I hear portray him to be. Soleimani had the blood of thousands of people, Yemenis, Afghans, Lebanese, Iranians, 600 Americans, Kurds. He had the blood of people on his hand, and he was no saint. So come on, give us a break. I don't think my compatriots are that stupid to come on the streets and celebrate his life or to mourn for him. Those people who were on the streets are forced to come out. We see them every February 12th on the anniversary of the revolution. They are told that they won't get paid. They are told that they won't get their share of medicine. They won't get their share of their food coupons. So they are forced to come out. And of course, like any other regime, they might have a few thousand, a million out of 80 million is not much, who follow them and truly believe in people like that, which is unfortunate. Today, what matters more than anything is to amplify the voices of the Iranians who have once again bravely taken to the streets of Iran in pursuit of freedom, democracy, secularism, respect for human rights, economic opportunity, modernity, and a better life, and demanding regime change in its totality. They've been doing that for the past at least 10 years. This is not a beginning. This is a continuation. Let's not let these partisan wars silence the true message of the people of Iran. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Farzad Farahani. I'm a member of the CPI. Before I go to the airplane situation, I would like to thank President Trump to killing Soleimani. Soleimani was a murderer. Soleimani, in his hand was blood of the Afghani, Iranian, Yemeni, Syrian, and everyone else in that jail. Also, every person, every American soldier which you see the hand and the leg is amputated, that Soleimani was responsible. The bomb site around the road in the Iraqis, Soleimani was responsible. I don't understand why some of the politicians here they are saying Soleimani wasn't a human being. No, Soleimani wasn't a human being. Look at the VA hospitals. Look at the American soldiers, young American without a hand and the legs which are amputated. Doesn't matter those which they died. That's a Soleimani's responsibility. Soleimani did it. And the Islamic Republic is so proud of him because of that. Other than that, General Soleimani, what type of education he had? That he had even high school diploma? any academy of the armies? No. Soleimani, when he was 24, he became general in the murderer because he was a good terrorist. Good terrorists, they mean against the humanity, against killing anybody. The people of the Syrian is being killed by him, but because of the army. When you are at war, you are going to the army, you are fighting with the law. Soleimani was a murderer, and he killed by the American, by order of the president. Thank you, Mr. Trump, to killing one of the devil in the earth. Second of all, 176 of the people on that airplane is being shut down. And Iranian government, they do not have any regret. Up to now, none of the Iranian officials, they came to their family, they gone there, they went to the media, and they apologized. Everybody, they are saying, oh, somebody is responsible. That's true, somebody is responsible. What's the good about it? Somebody is responsible. We are looking at who is responsible. Who is responsible? And the people, the students, and the younger generation of the Iranian which they are in the street, they are not asking who is responsible. They are not asking that. They are asking the Islamic Republic to leave. They don't want Islamic Republic. They want the Islamic Republic to quit, to go. Islamic Republic has to go. That's the things which the young people of the Iran, they are asking. Look at the videos. Look at the clips which we are receiving from Iran. Look at the posters and the banners of the Soleimani, which middle of the history is been torn, is been fired, and is been dropped in middle of the history, and the car is going through them. Those people you were seeing on the street of the Tehran, where before Soleimani comes, they are the people of the government. They are under the salary. They are under the salary. Government pay them. Government give them a 1 week off, 1 week salary to go for that. If the Iranian government is so happy, why after Soleimani died, they close all the bakery and the sweet shop in Iran? You know why? Because people, they were getting the celebration. And they didn't want that. These are the news which most of the Western media and the other media, they are not getting. But we are getting this type of news. Iranian people, they are tired of the corruption. They are tired of the murderer. Islamic Republic from first day which he came to the power with burning the 400 Iranian in the cinema Rex in Abadan. And after that, history of the Islamic Republic, it shows how many people have been hanged, how many people has been executed, how many people they've been died because of that. Still, we don't pass more than 1 month. 1,500 Iranian in history has been shot dead by the Reuters news. Where is the bodies? Still, the family, they don't have the bodies. Still, they are not giving the body of these people which they killed. And still, they are not giving the numbers. Where are the body of the people which they killed in history? They are finding in the middle of the rivers. They are finding in a dump site. They are finding in the middle of the desert. Where are they? Do you think this regime to killing 176 by the shooting a missile to the airplane are upset? No, they are not. Regime of Islamic Republic, they are murder, they are a killer, and they don't have any respect for humanity. We are asking from the world, from all the Western world, not from the Islamic Republic partners, not from Russia, not from China. They are Islamic Republic partners. We are asking from the free world to come to witness. We get a referendum, we get a new government, and we get a government of the rule of law. We want the government of the rule of law. We don't want to fight with anybody. We are not fighting with the Israelis. We are American, they are not our enemies. We don't want to have any enemies. Our neighbors, they are not our enemies. Whoever has any religion is belong to himself, is not belong to send them to the other countries, which is in the Islamic Republic constitution. We have everybody in the nation has to be Shias. We don't want that. We want to leave Iranian. This is a sound of Iranian demonstrate. They are asking to be one of the in the new world. They want to be in the world living like free people. They don't want a fighter. They don't want to call them a terrorist. They don't want to act a terrorist. Doesn't matter what the regime wants. We are asking all the world to help Iranian people to establish the new government. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm bad.
Do you all want to join us for Q&A?
I have a question. Yes. So this very exciting gentleman, he said, what can we do? I mean, besides what the big channels say, what is the person on the street can do to help Iraq, the Iranian people?
Do you want to use your question?
Okay, we want all the world to understand what's going on. We do not want the people, the media, to say, oh, the people that are in outside because of this 176 people died. That's true, but the thing is more than that. It's more deeper than that. A month ago, 1,500 Iranians died. Before that, a lot of students. Rusbeh is here. One of the people is being tortured in Europe. Media, Western media is ignoring that. And they're writing, oh, this missile is being mistakenly or by purpose. No, the only problem is not this one. It's deeper than that. We want them to meet under the Western media open this problem and go there and open. And when they're opening, it's easier for us to go to the politicians of these countries and make them to not to work and follow the American, follow this sanction and collapse Iranian regime. Still, Europeans are working with the regime. We want them to make him collapse.
And I want to add something that we hide it through what Iranian really wants. They change it. They try to ignore their rights. They try to change what they're shutting out. People are out asking for human rights, for regime change. But what they are showing is all these demonstrations, they're trying to change it just for food, for money, for plane crash. But it's not the only reason people want regime change. People want freedom.
Well, as far as what you can do, I can tell you that you can write to your officials, you can write to your local media. Like every demonstration we have, I myself contact the local media via email, via telephone calls. The only time that we've had success is when we went in front of the Fox News. CNN didn't even bother coming down when we went in front of the CNN. But Fox News, at least they sent a reporter down to interview with us. We shouldn't have to go chasing the media. This is newsworthy. The stability of Iran is the stability of the Middle East. During the Shah's time, no matter if you agree with the Shah or not, the Middle East was stable. It was a force that was keeping that area safe. And unfortunately, since the 1979 revolution in Iran, the whole area has fallen apart, has become a terror state, which is exporting his terrorism, which is what Khomeini promised to do. He promised that he's going to export his revolution, and he's done it. They're on our back steps here in the United States. The mosques here are very active, and don't undermine that. It's 40 years of sitting back and appeasing with the Ayatollahs is on our own back step right now. So thank God, President Trump, whether you like him or not, has stood up to this regime, which is what should have been done years ago.
So I have a question that somebody told me that Mr. Soleimani's daughter has got an American citizenship.
And she lives in Dallas, Texas.
We are
So
not
why-
sure if he's a
Yeah,
citizen, but we saw the green card.
Okay,
Nobody has
well,
proved
I
it
see.
yet. Nobody proved it yet, but doesn't matter. Even if his daughter is not here, we know for a fact so many of Iranian officials are living here, are living freedom, and take advantage of freedom in this country.
The lady, the lady who took hostages, Miss Mary, who was
Yeah.
the translator, Her son, she walks on the US flag every week during the Friday prayers. She badmouths the United States. Her son lives in Los Angeles and goes to UCLA.
Why?
Those are the green cards that were issued during Obama's time.
So why don't we
Obama's
take it away from them?
administration gave, well, that's the thing. That's what you guys can do. You guys can pressure your officials, and you guys can write that you want these green cards to be revoked. Because these kids are here, lo and behold, their parents are going to shave their beards and come under incognito to this country. So beware, it's not going to be over. And then the other thing you can do, right now after 20-something years, we finally got the world to pay attention to what Roosevelt mentioned, which is the regime lobby, which is very active in the United States. Unfortunately, they've become very active in Los Angeles. We actually have 2 of them who got elected to, which city council was it that they got elected to?
One of the neighborhood councils.
One of the neighborhood councils. So they're planting roots here. They're planting roots, and if the regime changes, they're going to be here. They're not going to go
And
anywhere.
it's not just
So my
the
question-
small offices like city council, we see them in Congress
Congress,
right now.
yes, we see
So,
them.
and they are very smart, they know what to do, and they have great support to, get more and more place here.
What, it looks like the Iranian don't want them. They sitting there and they
Don't want who?
the mullahs, whatever, all those
Yeah,
crazy
regime.
people. What can they do in order for them to, I mean, if the people, you have 80 million people don't want you, or 70 million, there must be a point of breakdown and finish.
Silent majority of the people, that's hard for them to beat the minor groups who are fully armed and disarm the majority of the people. When the unarmed people, silent people, they want to defeat the fully armed, the murderer and terrorists, they took over the country, that's hard for them to take it back. That's one of the reasons when talk about the civil disobedience, that's the people talk about many times, especially the lobbyists, talk about the sanction is not worth and hurting the people. Freedom is not free. If you don't want a war, you need to pay the cost. Easiest cost, without the war, that's a sanction. Sanction is the last missiles the people has without any arm in their own hands, and the international community can help. Remember, when the apartheid regime in South Africa collapsed, that was the time after the international community unified and put a divestment and sanction against the apartheid regime. The people inside Africa asked the international community to join the divestment and boycott the South Africa. British and United States, unfortunately, that was the last 2 countries joined the divestment and boycott the South Africa. As soon as they joined, less than 6 months, the regime collapsed and the people in South Africa get free. And if you don't want a sanction, the other option is war. So that's you need to see what type of the price you want to pay.
And this is something neither Iranian people are looking for or United States.
And actually, the people in Iran have shown that they have moved with civil disobedience movement. They haven't been violent. They are not armed. They use their words, and they've been doing it the right way. They don't want war. Nobody wants war. They've gone through an 8-year war with Iraq. They don't want another war. So it's very easy in Iran. It just needs the moral support of the world. We cannot say, we realize the Iranian people want a better government, and then on the other hand say we don't want regime change in Iran. Well, it's not up to you to want regime change in Iran. The Iranians want regime change, and eventually they will get it. You just need to work with them and morally support them and not give these hints of diplomacy has not worked and will not work with this regime.
Yeah,
We've worked diplomacy for 40 years.
if you see, recently the clip came from Iran University. The Iranian, they didn't walk on the American and the Israeli flag, which they were painting.
I saw it.
That shows Iranian attitude regarding the Israelis and the American. Doesn't matter what regime says. That's the people's attitude. Now he came another one today, front of the mosque. The people which are religious, they are not walking on it. Today came another clip from Abadan. People that are not walking through that flag, which they were printing in front of the mosque.
They left their shoes
Yeah,
around the
the
flag.
shoes around it, and they are not walking on it.
Even
That's the
religious
most religious people.
Yeah.
They are not going through that. That's the Iranian. That's not the government. And still, some of the politicians are saying, "Oh, they're not the real people." Who are they?
Just wanted to repeat it one more time. So many medias took advantage of clips came after Qasem Soleimani's murder. We have to know that 83 million people live in Iran, and that crowd that you see compared to the population of Iran is nothing. And as Roxanne mentioned, part of those people were forced to attend to this, the demonstration or whatever. So Iranian people, majority of them are against this regime and want it changed.
Is it possible, though, to have a change in the regime without having significant bloodshed? How does that happen without many lives being lost?
Unfortunately, that's a hard question.
Also, the only way to me is the same way which President Trump does. Push the sanction, no money to the regime, chop his hand from the Hezbollah, from Yemenis, from the Shadul Shabi in Iraqis, and they don't have any several hands to attack the American and his the allies. The regime is going to collapse. Remember, Russia collapsed, the Islamic Republic will collapse.
I have a Lebanese friend who tells me that since the Iranians have been sanctioned, they cannot spend on Hezbollah that much. It's given them a hand, it's given them a hand, the freedom fighters, a hand to start doing what they're doing today for the freedom of Lebanon. So it was Iran that was funding all these countries.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can't cut the funding from Iran, they can't, do it to pay their proxies, it's going to be crumbling them and weaken them.
I have another question. There was a gentleman on TV the other day on Fox News who was very, very informative, and he said the Iranian regime will fight until the very last Arab. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Maybe you were not informative. Remember Mohammed al-Sahaf, the Iraqi PR guy, in March 2003?
No, I don't remember.
That's what it means.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And where is Mr. Rustai? I really appreciate Mr. Rustai, one of our greatest artists here. Can you somebody call?
Yeah, Reza, I think, went to get it.
Yeah.
Call Hussein.
Okay, I think he left. He brought us a beautiful art piece. You can look at it in the other room. Thank you so much for coming.
في حزن وسع المدى، في وجع شواك عميق، لا صوت باقي ولا صدى، وأنا مين بكفي الطريق.